Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're working on my to-do file system, which is a file system that's essentially turning out to be document storage, like generalized document storage. And the idea is that I have documents that I want to be linked together in some way. In this case, the conception was that I wanted to link to-do items together. And they might have like multiple relationships, right? I might have like all of these tasks are part of project A. But within those tasks, maybe I have items that like have to be done in a certain order, or maybe I want to say that like, oh, this item is like ready to go. Like this item is requires some off-stream work. This item is ready to be worked on stream. And so I might want to see like, show me all of the items that I have that are like available to be worked on stream, or show me all of the items that are part of this project. Show me maybe like a tree of work that has like a chain of dependencies. So like if I am working on my image to text neural network and I want to try running the neural network in Rust, that would have to be done before I try running it in WASM in Rust. And running it in WASM in Rust would have to be done before I try working on like a web UI to run the neural network on the fly on a custom, like on a user machine, right? And so I want to be able to like visualize these trees, and I want to be able to write like maybe custom filters to be able to like interact with the database in some way. So what I have is items are all displayed or all stored, sorry, as a flat list here. So I have like 7 items in this like sample database, which does not actually work. There's a bug here. So we'll have to deal with that. Oh, no, sorry, that's not a bug. Sorry, take that back. These are all folders of content. And most of these folders are empty because I haven't like stubbed them out yet. And then there's like a database that's associated with these items that restores like their relationships between each other and like their names and stuff. When I mount my file system now, these guys all get mapped. I still have my 7 items, but now they have like some subfolders that aren't in the like source database. Things like, oh, here are the tickets that I block. So this one, I know by context that this is a ticket to work on Rust in my image to text neural network, and it says like, oh, I blocked these 2 things, and I'm part of the image to text project. And here's the content. There's no content in there right now, but there could be. And then I can write like a custom filter. So I've stored this filter in the database that I say, I want a filter called projects. And I want my projects to show all items that have no parent relationship, essentially. And so then here I can go into my project and say like, oh, here are all the children of this project. And if I look at like the web UI thing, I can see it's blocked by WASM, blocked by Rust. You know, so it's pretty starting to become like kind of useful. And what I want to do today is I want to add a way to like create items in the database. So right now, all of this stuff was like added by hand to the database manually. So like editing this guy essentially. And I want to have some sort of interface on the mounted file system to create stuff, right? So like if I go into items right now, if I type like makedir, you know, item 9, that's going to say like, it says file exists. It's just a fucking lie, but it's like not going to work. And so we need some sort of way to interacting with the database and allowing us to like create relationships, create filters, create items, all that. And so I was thinking about like a few ways of doing this, and the one I kind of settled on in my head is I want to add like basically a socket that sits at the root of the file system. Probably it will end up being like a hidden file. And that's going to act like a way for us to like send a request and get a response. Easy. So we say, hey, I would like to add an item, and he says, hey, I failed because of reason X, or here you go, here is the path to that item. And then we can like maybe wrap that with a little shitty little executable, and maybe we give the same treatment to to like creating relationships and linking items together and creating filters and all that stuff. And so yeah, what I'm thinking is we add an API that we can execute over the socket. We bundle a tool in the file system. Maybe it'll go in like bin in this folder to say like bin create item, and then you like execute that and it creates an item. And then we need to like test that works, bundle the tool. Then once we've done that, then we can start like expanding it to say like, okay, now I want to create a relationship. Now I want to create item relationships. Now I want to create filters, all that stuff. So that's what we're working on today. That is what we're working on today. And I think we just start moving. So let's see. So where we got to at the end of last stream. Oops, I didn't want to exit that. Fuck. Whatever, it's fine. Where we got to at the end of last stream was we created this like test socket in our client. Why is this already open? Hello? Client. Oh, it's just I shut down Vim uncleanly before. Okay, so we added this socket, we'll call it. It's actually just a file from the perspective of Fuse, but it acts like a socket where if somebody opens this file and they write to it, right now we push whatever was written into the file. So we have kind of like a list of file IDs that we've like got opens of. Somebody say open, we like write down a number for that guy. We say, okay, you're number 1. And then when they write to it, we just like push the stuff in there. And when they read back from it, we should, this is some debug code from yesterday, but what we should do is we should take that from the open files. I think we said open files, self, open files, read. Read to string. Why is that not working anymore? Oh, open files, it's F. F, read to, read, I think we just said read buff. Here we go. Yeah, this is what we did. And so I think we had a little test executable here. I think it's, sorry, let me just get this right. Okay. We had a little test executable here. So let's run the file system, and we had a test executable, cat test.c. Nope. We're in the wrong folder. And all he did was he opened a file, wrote the string test to it, and then tried to read it back. And I think this should work. Yep, so that writes tests and reads tests back, and we should be able to test that if we write something else. Maybe we write ASDF instead. We compile that. We get that back. So looks like everything's in place. And now what we want to do is we want to tack on something else here. So instead of reading and writing ASDF and just getting back what we wrote, what we should do is we should like write some request and read back the answer. And so maybe I'm thinking like what probably makes sense here is to just use like Rust's serialization framework to create a bunch of like API request options and figure it out from there. Probably. Okay. So where was I? Right here. And let's just say that we have some sort of enum for client request. Okay. And he has an option that's like create item. And we have a name associated with that item, which is going to be a string. How do I want to do this? Usually it feels better to add a like create item request here and create a new struct with the names of them. That's usually what ends up feeling pretty good. Maybe we put this in like an API module. That probably makes sense. Sure, yeah, we'll stick it in here. So we'll go here, right, and then fuse mod, then we say mod API, easy, he has this, and then we need to make a pub struct create item request. And he just has name string, easy. Easy. And this probably is also public. Okay. So now we need to like create some sort of serialization. So I guess we pull in like serd, which is like just Rust's like macro system to basically convert any struct into something that can be like written to any of these options. And eventually we'll have to pick an option as well. Probably I'll just start with JSON and then think about if I care about anything more efficient later. So we can say cargo add serd. And then I think you have to say features derived to say I want to have like the macro associated with it. And then we can just say derive, serialize, deserialize on these guys. And then we can even say that we want to like use serde serialize and deserialize. Okay. Cargo check. Let's see what happens. I misspelled something here. Create item request. Misspelled it. Okay. So that compiles. And now let's just maybe we will look at some sort of like test executable to just print out a serialized version of it. So I think you need serde JSON as well. Let's see, what is that crate called? JSON. Serde rs JSON. Serde JSON, which I think is how I spelled it. Yep. Okay. So I guess we go into source bin. We don't need the socket server test anymore, but we do need a, we'll call this, I guess we'll just make the executable for interacting with the database now, and then we can use this as our like test bed and then extend it later. So we'll call this, what do we want to call it? Like, we already have something called DB tool, which interacts with the DB database directly, which we're probably going to delete after this. But for now, we'll just call this thing fuse client. API client. API client. Sure, fuck it. That's good enough. Good enough. So we can go into API client, function main. And here we're going to use to do fs fuse API. This fuse API probably has to be used publicly. Okay, and then we can create a client request. Hello, welcome. And we can just create a client request and see what it looks like. So we can say serde JSON let request is equal to client request. And what does he look like? He's got a this goes create item, which is a create item request with a name of hello. Okay. We are missing a bracket here. Main marks the entry point in Rust. Yeah. Yep. Well, I guess you need to put your files, if you put them in like source bin, that it knows it should be an executable. And then if you then main is like the start of the application, yeah. Yep. Have I fucked this up in some way? Like this. There we go. Brackets all correct now. Okay. So now let's just serde JSON to string the request and print that out and see what we get. Put an ampersand here, and then can I say like toString pretty? Yeah, nice. Okay, cargo run, and we run with our bin API client, and hopefully we see something that's like resembles something. So he doesn't like that I'm trying to print out an error. He hates that. Okay, so we have this thing, and he comes in, he says, I am a create item with the name hello. If I were writing this API by hand, I wouldn't do it this way. So I think that there's like, I might as well make it look the way I like, just for aesthetic purposes. So I think that there are like serde derive macros. There are options that I can put on here. So one of them is that I want it to be like type and data or something. Like I kind of want it to look like, you know, request type. And then here it would say like create item or something. And then you can have like data is like the actual stuff in there. There's a way to do that, I think, where you can say, Let's see. There is a way where you can say on a variant. No. There's like an enum thing that you can specify to basically say do it that way. But I don't remember what it is. Untagged? Tagged enum representation. Yes. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah, here's what I'm looking at. I want tag equals type. Adjacently tagged. So T content C. This is basically what I said. So where were we? We were in the API, and oopsies. Did I open this again? Did I make a mistake? I did. Okay. So in our API, I should be able to say that I want this guy to be done with type and data. And there we go. So that's good. And then I wanted like snake case. So somewhere I should be able to ask for snake case everywhere. Here we go. I wonder if I can do this like, do I have to specify this on every single one? I don't know. But snake case. Okay, so now if I run this, that looks a little bit more like the way I want it. And I wonder if you could do something like, hey, for everything in this module, rename things to snake case. No, he doesn't like that. Okay, whatever. We'll just paste that everywhere. Okay. I guess serde apply to all structs in module. Module. Structs and units that you can import to use, blah, 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 within the same module. Yeah, okay. Nothing indicating that I can do that for everything. But that looks fine. Okay. Okay. So we have our create item request. And then I guess let's try, we'll say let serialized is equal to this. And then we'll say let deserialized is equal to serde JSON from stir serialized. Okay. And then we should be able to print line the deserialized thing. Serialized like this. Okay. Cargo check. He doesn't like that for some reason because I fucked up some bracketing, I guess. What the fuck? Ah, I didn't remove everything after the print line. So I need to tell him what I expect it to be. So I want to be a client request. And then I have to unwrap fuck it. We don't need to unwrap because we're printing debug. And oh, this is I do need to unwrap because I specified the type manually. And we need to derive debug for all this shit so that we can print it and see what it is. Boom, boom. Okay, easy. Cargo run. And we do see that we get back what we wrote out, so everything's hunky-dory. We're living the dream. So now we have this like client request thing, and we should be able to go into our Fuse client, and we should be able to on file write basically just try to deserialize that request. So I guess in theory somebody could be writing to us in chunks, right? So I don't know if it's reasonable that we expect that every single write call is one API request, right? Maybe that's not fair. But maybe for now we can just assume that it is and deal with the fallout later. Because like I guess what we would have to do is if somebody's writing in like smaller chunks than like one request can provide, we would need to buffer those writes in, I guess. Which I guess is reasonable. I guess that's reasonable. So I guess we would need to like create that case to test what it looks like, though. And I don't really want to deal with that. Okay, so for now, we'll just assume that every buffer that comes in will be one full API request. Sure. So we can say, what do we want to do here? We want to take the buffer and say that we expect it to be a JSON blob, serde JSON from slice buff. And we can say let request is equal to this. And this is going to be, we're going to specify here, client request. Okay, cool. I think that makes sense. And then this guy can now fail, but we don't know all of the ways he can fail yet. So for now, I'll just start writing unwraps. Let us crash if it fails and deal with error handling properly once we know what the whole thing is going to look like. And then we're going to look at the request. And what are my options? Client request, create item. That's the only thing that we do with the request. Create item rec. Cool. And then I guess we say self db create item with the create item rec name, which is straightforward. Actually, a lot more straightforward than I thought it'd be. Unwrap. Okay. So what do we do on completion here? He's going to tell us the item ID. And I guess when I create an item, I'm going to say, hey, here is, when I create an item, I'm going to call like / create item. And what do I want back is probably just the path to the item I created. So I think that we can say, we just want items ID, I guess. Do we have a function right now that like tells us where we should place that? We have items folder. Okay, so we can just say items folder, turn that into a path, because he has to be stored as a string because he's a like static namespace. You can't construct a path as a constant right now, so I have to just do this every time. But this is basically just like a double cast, so it's like essentially free. And then we say we join with ID to string. No. ID 0 to string. Yes, okay. And so that should give us the path to the item that we just created. So we'll say let new item path is equal to this. And then I guess we need to respond to that in some way. So in our API, we can create a new struct, create item response, and he's going to have a path here. Use stood path buff. Okay. And here, I guess we do the same thing where we have a client response. And our response is going to be create item response. Easy. Easy. Which means that now I guess, do we need more in here? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let response is equal to create item response. Path is new item path, and then we just stick that in a client response. Okay. This might be a little bit too much, right? This feels like a lot, but that's probably fine. It's probably fine. And then we serialize this as serde JSON to writer, Nice. And we can just shove that in the response file. So we can say let response file is equal to self open files. Get mutable reference to ID. We assume that it's going to be there, which is not true. We're going to have to handle that failure case as well. And then we just shove it in there. Response file. I think that should work. But we have to put the response as well. Okay, borrow here. And this probably needs to be a borrow as well. No? What does he not like? I get a key. My key is an ID. Oh, I rewrote. Fuck. I have an input ID, Z64, but then I overwrote that with something else. So we'll call this item ID. And anywhere we used ID here was item ID. And now I think this looks like it works. And I don't have to do this, and I just unwrap. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And then on read, I just try to read that buffer. Sure. Okay. So I guess we have to test this in some way. So we can go into our API client. And here we will say let socket. Socket is like kind of a wrong. We're using it like it's socket, but really it's like just a file. So we'll just call this test file. Socket file API handle. Sure. And this will just for now hard code in test mount test socket. We'll rename it later. And let's just try writing to it and see what happens. Let's just see. So I think we need std.fs file, probably std io write. And we should be able to then just say API handle write. Nope. Oh, this is probably needs to be unwrapped. Sees an error. He could fail. And now can we write? Nice. We can write serialized thing. And then we can try to read something back. So API handle read. Read like this. And what are my read options? Read. So pull some bytes from this source into the specified buffer, returning how many bytes were read. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I just need to make sure that I allocate at least enough of a buffer. So we'll say let response buff is equal to, like, I don't know, a vec, like 0 for a lot of bytes. Fuck it. We read into this buff. Okay. And we get the response size. So now we can say let num bytes read is equal to this. Then we want to basically turn that back into what we got. So we can say JSON from reader. No, from reader. What happens here? What's the from reader do? DCL is an instance of type T from an IO stream. The content of IO stream is DCL directly from the stream. When reading from a source, blah, blah, blah. It is expected that the input stream ends after the DCLS object. Okay, so that's not the case for us. So we'll just go from slice, and we'll take response buff from 0 to the number of bytes read. Okay. Unwrap, and we'll say let response is a client response. Yeah. And here we just say client response. Pull that bad boy in, and then we print it out. And certainly this won't work, right? Certainly, but we can try. So we'll mount the file system, and then run the API client. Just see what happens. So he actually doesn't even fucking compile. Am I crazy? Oh, this is right. This expects a buffer of U8. So can I just say to vec? And here I can put an ampersand. And API handle should be mutable. Cargo build. Okay, cargo run the to-do fs. Oops, he crashed, so mount test mount. And let's run the API client again. Okay, so bad file descriptor. Okay, that's interesting. This is at API client 14. So line 14, we couldn't write. Oh, that's interesting. We failed to write. That's very strange. So what happened from the Fuse client's perspective? We ran open, flush, and release. No write? Well, there was no write anywhere in here? Why not? Why not? Oh, because I didn't open this with write permissions, probably. I think open file opens in read-only mode. Aha! Okay, so we need to open this as read-write. So we need to use open options here. And then it's open options, new, dot open this, and we can say read true, write true, create false. And I think that should do it. Okay. There we go. So now we panicked at line 23, error, trailing characters. So we got a read. It looks like nothing crazy is going on here. We get the write, then we get the read. He's saying trailing characters. So what does that mean? At API client line 23. Trailing characters. Ah, so he maybe didn't like the number of bytes read. So can we like print line? What do we get back here? Let's print back num bytes read was num bytes read, easy. And let's also print the buff is response buff. And I guess probably we don't want to print the whole thing. We just want to print like 0. We want to print like from 0 to num bytes read or something. Just to see. Cargo run. Cargo run. Oh, so he's claiming that he read the whole thing, which is just a fucking lie. And that's probably because we're just lying in our Fuse stuff. So on read, it looks like we are unconditionally returning how many bytes they asked for. And so we just need to fix that. So this guy should return how much he read. Okay. Which means that this guy can just return how much he read. Okay. And then this guy can say try into expect failed to cast usize to I32, which should never happen, but just in case, let's try this again. So run our API client. So here we got 96 back this time. He still thinks he has trailing characters, but we're closer now. So let's look. Can we like actually like print out what we got in the API client? I'm trying to print out this thing, but he's just too long to print. So maybe let's try to convert him to a string. So we'll say let response stir is equal to stir from UTF-8, I think is the word. Response buff from 0 to num bytes read. Let's just see what we get. So here we'll say response stir. Print me out, baby. Let's see what we get. That looks pretty reasonable. Type, create item, data, path, items 12. Oh, Wait a second. Oh, it's because we're fucking, probably still pushing in what we got when we, when on write. We are still, instead of like expecting us to respond reasonably, we're just echoing back what we got. So it's saying, oh, there's extra shit in there that I don't want, which is an easy fix. We just delete those lines because that's not what we're doing anymore. We're on the experiment again. All right. So we just created an item. We got a new item at 13. And it looks like that exists. And so now if we run it again, oh, oops. We'll run the API. We got back items 14. Nice. Okay. And now we're actually seeing a bunch of duplicated hello projects because they're items with no parents, which is kind of funny. Okay. So create some sort of API to add items. Okay. And probably for now, does it make sense to just ban this from happening? Because it's like kind of fucking annoying. Like it kind of like fucks up the whole project. So I'll put that on the to-do for later. Ban duplicate item names or handle gracefully. Probably or handle gracefully is going to be the path that we end up taking. But for now, can we just remove them from the database easily? DB tool. Do we have a like delete item? I think we actually have no way to delete items at all. So maybe we just SQLite browser test2 and we just nuke these guys. Delete, 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 delete. Are any of these a delete button? Copy. Use and filter expression. Set to null. No, I just want like this row gone. Oh, here we go. Delete records. Okay. Boom. And I think there are no like other things in here that would rely on that, so I think we're good. Hopefully that doesn't just like fuck everything up. We can always regenerate the database for now because we're like experimenting. Delete via client. Yeah, eventually I'll have to support that, but for now, we can get away without it. And I don't remember. Fuck. We have to delete the equivalent folders as well, or else it's going to cause problems later. So let's just look at this. So we have up to 7, so we can delete everything after 7. In the DB items, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, just readdir. And I think we're chilling now. So let's mount it again. Test to do fs. Let's just mount it and see what happens. And here we go to items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 projects. Okay, looks like we are chilling. And then let's try our API client one more time. And we won't run it again. And so now we should see one hello. Looks like he got ID 8. Everybody's chilling. Everyone's chilling. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So now, what do we want to do next? Is it possible to implement like an RM item in the file system? I think so, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. I have to think about that. The reason that I did like create this way is because I wanted to be able to like return the file path that was created so that you can like use that in a script to say like create an item, then assign this item relationship to it. I don't know if the same thing makes sense for like removing items. It might make sense to just try removing them and log failure for whatever reason and like your logs otherwise. I don't think that there's anything you need to like print out, but I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about it. But I think it's possible to implement it that way at the very least. Okay. So what is next? What is next? So I guess we want like in our mount to, I guess, bundle a tool to do these things so that you don't ever have to like worry about external things. You just say like, here in the file system itself are all of the things you need to interact with it. So I guess that means we have to finish up this API client. So what do we want him to be? Maybe we're going to use this as like bin create item bin API client create item name hello, and then we're going to like expect to get a response from that. Then we can say like API client add item relationship from thing to thing relationship ID thing, which means that we're also going to have to like present relationships in the file system later. Let's just start with the create item case. Okay, like having a client that has an action and a name, that seems fine for now. It's not like really like the most ergonomic. Maybe if you had like bin create item and then you just knew that you write like hello here, and then you also have like bin add item relationship, maybe having them as like separate executables like makes sense instead of trying to bundle them all together. But that means that like on the tool side, there's probably a bunch of duplicated code for like creating requests. Maybe not. Maybe that's fine. Okay, let's try making this bin create item. Let's kind of see what that looks like. So we can say that we expect the item name is supposed to be std env args nth1, and we can say expect name not provided. I guess really it's better to have some sort of like argument structure that is like properly parsed and stuff. You know, like struct args, and if someone types help, we're going to return some sort of help thing. I guess in this case, it's just going to be create an item, yeah, and with a couple new lines, then we'll say like expected usage program name and name item name. Sure. So this goes into a format string, and we take in the program name here as a string, and I guess he returns a string. Maybe he just like hard codes print line and exit. SE process exit 1. Okay. And then when we try to parse arguments, we get in like a iterator of arguments, I guess. IT is an iterator of item string. Okay. We take in our iterator called mutable iterator, and he's of IT. And on success, he returns string. No, args. Yes. And if he fails, he'll just call help. So any failure case, I think, just turns into this. So we don't actually have a failure case that we have to handle here, I think. We'll see. Maybe putting this as like a structure is a little overkill when the only argument is one thing. But I've just kind of been doing this so many times that feels like that's how I'm supposed to do it, but fuck it. So we'll call this yeah, get item name from args. Okay, he returns a string, and okay, so we just say while let some item or arg is equal to it next. If arg equals help, help. Sure. We run help. We need to get the program name. So that's the first thing. Expect no program name provided. I guess that's like an actual fucking unexpected case where we can crash. We run help program name here. Okay. And I guess here we'd say this never returns so that it knows. And what else? What else? Let item name is equal to none. Here we then say if item name is not none, we can print line unexpected extra argument, and then we run help. Okay. And otherwise, we just say item name is equal to arg, sum arg. And then here, if we get to the end, we say let item name is equal to, let sum item name is equal to item name. And if we can't do that because it's none, then we say print line, please provide item name. Help. All right. I think we did it. We should be there. Okay. So now we have our item name, which comes from get item name from args, SED and args. Okay. Then we still have to do all this stuff. Create the API handle. The name is now just item name. And yeah, sure. All of this stuff just lines up. And then instead of printing the response like this, we just say match response. If we get a client response, create item. Anything else is like an unexpected response. And let response do this. Response. And what else? What else now? We just print it out. So we just say response dot path. Is that right? Yeah, path. All right. And this guy gets renamed to create item. Cool. Cool. So now we can run this. So we can run create item. Why is there an extra? Why is it printing \n there? Hello? There we go. I made a slight mistake. Okay. Please provide item name. Yeah, okay. I don't really like the help string there, actually. So this should be what, like... Maybe we put this here. What's like a... Maybe I need like ls-help. What does it normally look like? Usage. And then, yeah. So we just say usage this. And then it'll tell me what it does. Sure. Maybe we'll just print usage. Fuck it. Does that feel okay? Create item. Please write item. Usage, target, debug. Yeah, okay, sure. and then we say ASDF. And now he doesn't like that because we are not mounted. So now we do create an item, and he prints out items 9, which is about all we could hope for. Cool. It might be better if he prints out like the full path. But that's fine for now. So now what I want is for that to like automatically be bundled into the file system so that like everything that we want to do there is just there. And so I guess that means in fuse mod, we probably just want to like make like a bin folder. So here, when we iterate the root directory, we are going to make a dir entry dir bin. Okay. And I guess if we are going to have like a purpose of path that is like tool bins, right? That's one of the options for a directory. When we iterate it, we're going to look for those. So then everybody that looks at these path purposes is going to say, well, if we are path purpose bins, tool bins, then we are a directory. And when we list that directory, we're going to have a special case for tool bins, which is unimplemented, but he's going to have to list out a bunch of binaries that we can run. And when we parse a path, we're going to have to say else if some bin equals matches bin tools path. I really don't like the way that this is structured, by the way. I think that it's stupid that like we list stuff and then later we like try to decide if the stuff that we got is like the same thing that we listed. Like this is like a stupid way of doing this. But that's okay. Path purpose. Tool bins. Okay. Sure. Should I just take this opportunity to fucking fix this? No, I don't want to get too distracted. So we're just gonna make a new. What would be a smarter way? I think that I should do is I should have like list. We have like this like readdir function here, and he returns like basically folder names and file names. And I think that you could have something that's like pub function, get dir contents, which takes in like self and a path. And he returns something like path purpose and name. Like a vector of path purpose and name. And then later when we are like trying to interact with files, we just get the directory contents of their parents and like pick the one that matches based off the name. And when we call readdir, we call this and convert everything to just its name for presenting. But I think that we can just follow the shitty existing pattern briefly for now. Did I make a matches tools path? No, I didn't. Function matches tools path. And we take a path and return option. This is just there's no thing that this returns. This is just true or false. This guy returns true, and we can just say path equals bin. Yeah, all right. Sure. Is that what we called it before? Like, the fact that I even have to check this is so fucking stupid. Yeah, we called it bin. Okay. So if the path is bin, then we match the tool path. Okay. And then matches tool, which is something else we're gonna have to say, and we're gonna take in a path, and he's gonna return an option of he's gonna have to like map back to the real binary. So here we have this like thing that we already have like a bunch of pass-through stuff, and we call it db path. And I'm pretty sure that there's nothing that says that this has to be related to the database. And so we'll just rename this db path to pass-through path. I think everything should work out there. And okay. So when we parse paths, what are we gonna do? We're gonna say else if some bin path equals matches bin path. Here we go. Matches. So say if the bin path matches bin path, we just return path purpose pass through path bin path. All right. Jesus. Matches bin path. Option. I don't know. Path buff. Sure. Is that right? What does pass through path expect? Path buff. Yep. Yep. Okay. So here, if our parent is the tools path, so if our path parent is not a tool path, we're not bin. Okay. Path.parent is also something that can fail, but if we don't have a parent, then we're just none, so we just put a little question mark there. And then we know that we just need to match our bin name. Okay, so we can expect for now that our tools are adjacent to our executable. So we have like bin, something build output, and then we have to do fs, and we're also going to have like create item. And so I guess we just check if this matches, or we don't even check. We just say fucking blaze it. You can try to execute anything, and we'll just link you back. And if it exists, it exists. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So we can just say some path.filename. And I guess he might not exist, so we just boom. Filename. Map x into two. Maybe just writing into is sufficient here. Looks like it. All right. So I wonder if everything else just works here. Target check. How badly do I... Not everything compiles, which means that this might just work. So let's make the mount, and we can ls test mount, and we should see a bins folder. And if we look at bin, we see nothing, so we crashed. Not implemented at client rs 411. Ah. I see. We did not implement the directory listing. Yo, what's up? So we need to list what items we expect to be there. And so I guess for now, we'll just fix me. This is fucking stupid. But for now, we will just hard code create item. Box new. And this is into iter. And this expects dir entry file create item. Okay. Okay. That's fucking stupid, but at least maybe it'll get us started. Are you using NixOS? Sure am. I sure am. Okay, we have create item, but he doesn't like that either. DB has not handled by client. So this is at client 344. What is it bitching about? Okay, so somebody isn't handling this correctly. And it's because this get pass-through path is not checking everything needs to check anymore. So we just have to say if let some path is equal to this, we return that path. Otherwise, else if some path, I guess we just say matches bin path. Yeah. Okay. This is the other option. And what's going on? Like this. Okay, some. And return. Okay. So hopefully that fixes it. I probably have to unmount the test mount because it's broken. Run. We ls. Fuck. ls test mount bin. Cannot access test mount bin create item. Oh, maybe because the mapped path is create dash item. It is create dash item. Create item. This is so fucking stupid. There's so much like stupid shit going on here. This is like piling up fucking tech debt. But I know that I want to go change the way that this whole system works anyways. So it's interesting. Create item doesn't work. Test mount bin create item. What's wrong with this? No such file or directory. So this is a pass through path create item, and he's supposed to pass through to the right thing. But I probably didn't pass him through. I just passed through like a file name, not like a file path that he should map to fully. So I'm actually supposed to say that my path is equal to std env args next expect no program name. I should say that my path should be able to be a path buffer. So he's a string here. And I should be able to say equals path buff new my path. Okay. From my path. Okay. Now I should be able to say that my path join the path file name. So I should be saying my path.join x. And so this should now be like if I'm at bin to do fs, this should go to bin create item. It should. We will see. Okay, so he's close. Why now? Cat test mount bin create item. He thinks that he's not a directory. Why is he It's not a directory. So why is he complaining? Why is he complaining? Somebody, somewhere, is doing the wrong thing. Let's look at this again. So we say, look up, get attr, bin create item, found pass-through path, and then he's returning with not a directory. So this must be on get attr. Somebody is doing the wrong thing. So what do we do here? We say, we try to get a pass-through path. If we're a pass-through path, we say found pass-through path. And we call else stat. So what's the fucking problem? Can we say, let ret is equal to this, and say print line, get attr returned ret. Okay? And then return ret. And let's just see what the fuck is going on there. Because something is not right. Found pass-through path, and I'm just not. Why is I'm not getting that print? Oh, because this is probably trying to call the function, and ret. If he's saying that I didn't get a return value that's sane, And he's returning not a directory. So what the fuck? Does lstat require a directory? Stat return things for path name. Okay. Fstat doesn't have file descriptor. So like, what the fuck is the problem? I should be able to stat. Maybe not a directory is also the failure for not a file. That seems possible. So just here, they can say, e no ant, e not dir. A component of the path prefix of the path name is not a directory. Ah, okay. That's a good clue. So let's see what pass-through. So it says found pass-through path, and he says this thing. And found pass-through path, target debug to dofs create item. Oh, that's a good clue. ls target debug. Oh, I fucked up somewhere. It thinks that it should be a subpath of to-do-fs because I didn't fucking turn this into a parent. Parent path equals to my path parent unwrap for now. And so this should be parent path dot join. There we go. Are we fucking there? Are we fucking there? Okay, there we go. Sick. So now we should be able to run like test mount bin create item, and he is correctly mapped now, which looks like it's working. Looks like it's working. Okay. So I don't really want to do like create the other binaries yet, because I really don't like the way that this is like being mapped right now. So I'm just gonna say that we're gonna fucking fix the like fix like all of this like path matching shit, because it's like fucking broken. Like it's just so stupid. Git add source fuse API, and we'll just say whip create item tool. And I guess we also the create item thing. He should now actually, the last thing we have to do here actually is he needs to automatically figure out where this like socket is. And we're gonna have to move the socket. So we're just gonna put some to-dos to say maybe fix me test socket is the wrong spot. Fix me automatically resolve socket path relative to root to binary. Because we can kind of like expect that he's like one layer up or something. Yeah. Okay, git status. Oh, git add source bin create item. That's important. Important. Okay. So let's say that now we are going to fucking fix, what do we want to call this? Like readdir path matching. Yeah, we'll just say that. Fix readdir path matching, because it's just pissing me off. It's pissing me off. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we have pub function list dir contents. He takes in self, and maybe by mutable reference if he needs to do some like DB exclusive access stuff, and we take in the path. And now instead of returning this, which is an item dir entry, it's going to be very similar, except it's going to be maybe our items are going to be path purpose as well as name, which is a string. Probably all of this stuff is almost exactly the same as it was here. But just anywhere we had dir entry, we're going to have to like pretty this up a little bit. So things in the item folder. This is going to be hold on. So to fuck. How do we want to do this? Maybe we'll do it piece by piece so that we don't have to like focus on everything at once. It's just too much. So let's start with the root directory. So the root directory has items, which is a folder of items. He has and then he has each filter. So the items thing, this is going to be let ret is equal to box item path purpose string. Okay. And I guess we'll write everything else is unimplemented for now. We're actually, do we want to do this path parse thing? I guess we kind of have to. But path parse is going to call lister contents. Is kind of what I was thinking initially. Which kind of makes this like recursive into itself. So that feels kind of wrong. How do we avoid that? How do we avoid that? You just need like the recursion has to like end at some point. So we're gonna say like parse path is going to list dir contents for the path purpose. That's important. Then what else is he going to take in? Parse path takes in a path. Yep. So I'm missing a step here. Parse path takes in a path. He's going to try to figure out the purpose of that path somehow. So he's going to call list dir contents path parent. Yes. And then he's going to try to find himself in the list. So he's going to say find path name, and then I'm going to get back a what am I getting back here? I'm getting back option path purpose string. Okay, so if I don't find that, then I return. Okay. And so I guess this just resolves if I have no parent, then I'm the root. Okay. So I think that I can expect that list dir contents is allowed to call parse path, and parse path will just short circuit the case where we're the top directory. Cool. This makes sense. This works. So we are going to parse the path, and if we are on the root, then we are going to start doing these things. Yes. Okay. Item folder name is the file name of the items folder to OS string. I think that we just want strings here. Like this. For now. And then our items iterator is a path purpose items. Is this path purpose items? Is that one of the things? Yep. And the name is items. Okay. And then on the filter side, we get filters, but we map our filters differently now. Yeah. So our filters are now the path purpose is just defined as filter with the name. Yep, that makes sense. But really, using the filter name here is fucking stupid now. Because we know exactly which filter it is. So trying to match the filter back by name is like wrong. This should be a filter ID. Okay, so now we're gonna say filter ID And then we'll just write filter.name as like the name of the folder. Yeah. So I think this should work, except that someone is getting a stir instead of a name. So this would be toString. And then on readdir, let's maybe just comment out this whole readdir as the old version for now. And our readdir implementation is now going to look like this. Fuck, what did I just do? Copy, paste. This can all get uncommented. And this is just going to be self.listdir contents for the path. And then we just map item is going to be something. Let's see. Let's okay. Let dir iterator is equal to this. Let dir iterator is equal to dir iter dot map item, and this is gonna have to return dir entries. And then we return okay dir iterator. We're getting close. We're getting close. And so now this guy just needs to make sure that we say match item, and we match the purpose. And this we can just call get file type on it. Yes. So when we say self.get file type item 0, and it will tell us what the dir entry type should be from here. So we can just say, is this right? Get file type expects a path. Fuck. So I guess we're close here. We just need this guy to come from the purpose now. So we can just say function path purpose to dir entry. Which I think makes sense. Path purpose to file type. Yes. And he takes in a path purpose, and returns a file type. Okay. Where this is coming together, I think. So this just does this stuff. Match purpose. File type is lowercase t. And this looks like we can remove these OKs. Okay. We're close, we're close. Then here, we can just say path, purpose to file type, self parse path. Okay. Okay. And I guess let's just say okay here. And why did I do all this again? Why did I do this? Well, first of all, what's he complaining about? Oh my god, there are all sorts of problems. Expected path found path purpose. Right. So here I want to get path purpose to file type for item 0. We have the path purpose now, and depending on the path purpose, or depending on the file type now, we have file type dir goes to dir entry dir with item 1, the name, and we just do the same thing for file and whatever the other thing is. Fuck, where did I just go? Here. Fuck, I was just here. This is file and link. And this just goes to file and link. All right. I guess we need some intos on these. Okay. Chillin'. And this guy just needs to be, instead of this being a box thing, he's just going to say impl iterator. Because the box is inside now. things are moving. And so now we just have to go back to client 604. And what's going on here? Parse path this is where we also want to just delete a bunch of code here. So instead of doing this like match item thing, we can just say self list dir contents path parent. If path parent is none, we say that we are a path purpose root. That's the only option. That's the short circuit of our recursive thing. We say let parent is equal to path parent so we can reuse him. I guess it's match path parent. If we have, I guess it's one of those like let some parent equals path parent, else we do some other shit, which is return okay path purpose root. Yep. Now we can just list the directory contents based off of the parent. Okay. And then we try to find our name. So path.full name, file name. That's what we're looking for. Okay. And we're going to say list or contents, find. Item 1 is equal to name. Yeah. And I guess we will, what happens if the name isn't in there? That's probably a error. One of these many error types. No. Path purpose unknown. Yeah. There we go. So let some item is equal to this. Otherwise, we return path purpose unknown. Okay, that seems reasonable. And then we just return okay item 0 because we know its purpose now. So we list his, we remembered him. He doesn't like that this is a he doesn't like that this is a OS string, and he doesn't like that he's an option either. So if this is not available, we'll just return okay path purpose unknown. Seems reasonable. We can't find a name for him. Let name is equal to name dot to stir unwrap. Okay. And map or parse path error. I guess the error type here is just going to change. This is just going to turn to readdir error. And then everything just works. Okay. This needs to turn into readdir error now, so the types match up. Cargo check. Is everyone else happy? Oh, there's so many errors. So many errors. So I guess everywhere we have parse path error, that's going to turn into readdir error. And we're close now. What the fuck? Readdir error. Now we have like some recursion in there, which is fucked. So I guess we just say box readdir error here, and then readdir error. This turns into like x box new parse path x. Ugh. What a disaster. What a disaster. But we'll figure it out later. Oh, sorry, it's like this. Parse path box new x. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. So parse path error I think just shouldn't exist anymore. I think. because he isn't used. Okay, we're compiling it, which is good. So hopefully in the current state, I should be able to ls the root directory of test mount. And if I go to items, it will fail because it's not implemented. Good. And now we can just start implementing the other types of readdir content. So let's look at the items folder next. So here we... What is he bitching about? Oh, because this is returning dir entries, of course. So here, we are now mapping, instead of mapping this to directory entries, we are mapping to something else. What the fuck is happening? Did I forget a... I forgot to close curly brace. Okay. So here, for each item in the items thing, we have a path purpose of item with an ID of item ID like this. And the name is just going to be item.name. Boom. And I think that's it. So now ls umount test mount cargo run ls test mount items. We want the ID here, not the name. Item ID 02 string. Easy. Easy. Okay, there. So now test mount items done. ls test mount projects fucking busted because we haven't implemented that part yet. Thank fucking God. This is going to be so much better. We're going to be able to delete so much code when this is done, which is going to be sick. Okay, so now we want to look at the filters thing. Filters. Filters, filters, filters. So if the path purpose is a filter, we run all of this code, and all we do is instead of mapping to dir entry link, we map to path purpose item link with ID, item ID, and name. And filter is now filter ID, which means that we can say get into find filter ID is ID, filter ID. What's this bitching about? Filter ID is a filter ID. Filter ID is a filter ID. Does filter ID not implement EQ? It might not. Aha. So we'll just fix that. Boom. Looks like we are chilling. This doesn't need into. Looks like everything else there is fine. So we can run again, and we can ls test mount filter projects. And there, we have our links to our things, which is great. So that's working. Cool, 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 cool. I guess we've done root. We've done root, we've done items, we've done filter. Okay. And we've done filter. Here we go. And let's do item next. Sure. Let's do that. So items. He is going to return. Everything here still reasonable. It's just instead of doing dir entries, oh, here we go. So here we map to dir entry thing for name. So here we're going to say that the dir entry is not a dir entry anymore. He is a path purpose And what is this? This is relationships. So what is the output? Categorized relationships is a bunch of item IDs. So each item ID is just going to be an item link. For name? Oh, this is for each relationship. Fuck. So this is a item relationships. And what does he expect to have? He expects to have an item ID, a relationship ID, and a relationship side. What the fuck does this function do? He is supposed to be turning all of my... Oh, this is finding the names of all of my relationships. I see. Is this the only place where he's called? Yeah. So instead, he should, instead of be mapping to name, he should be mapping to whatever the relationship thing wants, which is this. Item ID, relationship side. Cool. And so he should be turning like a hash set of that tuple. Item ID, relationship side. And a name, I guess? Because we need to put a name of the directory. How do I want to handle this? I think that this function is just like fucking wrong. So we iterate our relationships and I must be high. This must be used somewhere else. No, it's not. He doesn't actually use it when he listens. Okay. So I guess we're just going to return a vector of item ID, relationship ID, relationship side, and name. Sure, fuck it. And so now here, when I push, instead of pushing this, get relationship for the ID. We have a relationship, which is of type relationship. We figure out his side, map that to a name. Cool. And then we just say ret insert item relationship dot. What the fuck am I supposed to put in here? What is the item ID here? I guess my item ID, which I just don't have here. I guess the item ID is known when I categorize relationships. So this guy doesn't pass out item ID. He's known beforehand. I just pass out relationship ID, relationship side. Okay. And my name. Jesus. Insert expected two things, because this should be a hash set now, not a hash map. Nope. This is just a vector. No hashing required. Jesus. Okay, so when we categorize our relationships now, we have relationships into iter. We map. This is the relationship ID, relationship side, and the name. Come in here. And now we can say that our item relationship is our item ID, relationship ID, relationship side, and our name. Jesus, that one was rough. but I think that's right. Name.into probably, toString probably. Oh, he's already a string. What's the fucking problem? Hard to check. What is the problem? Expected path, oh, it's down here. We should be returning the content directory is a path purpose item. What is the content thing called? Matches item folder. We kind of lost that purpose. What is the purpose of the content directory? It must be a pass-through path. It must be. So if we are the content folder, we are passing through to the content of that folder. Yeah, okay. So pass through path, and I guess we need to look at the DB content folder for ID, pass in the ID, unwrap, and then our name, which is content. I think that's right. We will fucking see. Now there's some like ownership shit, because ID is used here and here. So we'll just here say let pass through path is equal to this. We do it ahead of time so that we don't have to borrow the ID twice. This guy comes up here and then we pass in pass through path like this. He still doesn't like that. Oh, because now we have to move here so that ID gets in. And we are chilling. No, fuck. Move because item relationship side has type relationship side, which is not input the copy. Oh, we can just fix that. We can just fix that. There is no reason for this to not be copyable. Thank God. So all of that. Now we should be able to go to lstest mount items 1. Fuck. So I thought that would work. DB paths not handled by client. So that's at line 325. Oh. This is just not true anymore. This is fine. Path, purpose, DB, pass through path. I guess we don't know if the pass through path is a directory or a file. Based off of this, fuck me, man. But we can figure it out. Who uses this again? Path purpose to file type. Get file type. As well as readdir. I'm going to run Rust backtrace here to see if we can just dodge this altogether. Is someone who's trying to... Who's failing here? We are calling readdir on 1 on the item ID. So we're at client RS 480. And we are getting a purpose of pass-through path. Okay. I see. Okay. So we need to turn that. We just need to check, I guess, if that thing is a file or directory. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. P metadata is unwrap for now. There we go. Yeah. So if let metadata for this file is equal to this. If metadata is dir, file type dir, else if metadata is symlink, we are file type link. Yep. Else if we are a file, we return file type file. I guess we just return file in all other cases. Okay. And now can we ls the contents of mount. Now can we ls the contents of that? Children content. That's a problem. Okay. So it's because when we categorize those item relationships, we need to deduplicate them. There could be multiple that have the same pairing. So we'll just hash set this. Say this is a hash set new. I guess we can still make this a vector. We need to import hash set here. Okay. And then we insert. And these guys don't implement hash. Ugh. That's fine. That's fine. Hash. Hash. Does that work now? Then we iterate over the items and collect them back to the vector. Okay. Please work now. ls. This is spelled wrong. Ooh, he crashed. What did he crash for? Not implemented. Oh, because I just ls the wrong directory. Sure. So ls test mount items 1. Children content. If I go to content, we have not implemented that part yet. Ooh, we are getting much closer. Thank God. Thank God. Okay. What else? What else? We can get the compiler to tell us what is missing. Cargo check. What are we missing? We are missing tool bin, socket, item relationships. Okay, let's start with tool bins. This should be fucking easy. So tool bins is just what was it? It was path purpose. Path purpose. Pass through path. And we have a pass through path of create item. This shit. Like this. Pass through path is this. And so now we can just say pass through path, and we have create items. Boom. What doesn't T like now? This needs to go to string. Okay. And this has to be unwrapped, I guess. Okay. And where did the bins path? It wasn't our root folder initially supposed to have a bin folder in our root? Did we lose that somewhere? We must have. It must have been here. We had items and pass through purpose, tool bins, bin. Nope. I spelled that wrong. This is bin. Fuck off, man. Bin. There we go. Okay, so now when we run, cargo run, and let's just umount test mount before we do this, because every time it's fucking there, and we go ls test mount. We should have a bin folder now. We go to bin. Fuck! What doesn't it like there? What is he bitching about? Root readdir, got filters, okay. Fuse client 326, unwrap. We got a pass-through path on something that doesn't exist. Create Oh, it's because I put an S on here. Fuck off. Fuck off, man. Still no? What's it bitching about now? No such file directory, line 326. Still. Print line. Did I fuck something up here? What is it trying to fucking do? So, target debug bin. Oh, I'm just an idiot. This shouldn't be a pass. Oh no, that should. In the root, tool bins is bin. Okay. My path is program name, parent. Pass-through path is the parent path join X. And it's trying to ls at /bin, okay, at target debug bin. And it's just claiming that doesn't exist? Which it doesn't. Right. So who's trying to look at that? That's coming from fuse mod rs136. I feel like I'm missing something. Fuse client readdir coming from an iterator at 502. Path purpose to file type coming from readdir. Okay. Which is coming from the closure at 327. I'm confused. Why is this pass-through path ever being constructed with bin? Tool bins, pass-through path. It must be coming from here. So here we can say print line, pass-through path. Should I switch to NeoVim? I get FOMO when I watch a streamer or YouTuber use NeoVim. I think you could always try it. It's my favorite editor. I don't know. I think like should is such a strong word. I think people should use what they're comfortable with. I've seen many people be productive with lots of tooling. There's a lot of things that I like about it. I don't know what you're switching from either. It totally depends. If you're like, should I switch from Vim to NeoVim? I think that's like an easy thing to try. If you're like, should I switch from Emacs to NeoVim? It's like, I don't know. If you like Emacs, you like Emacs. You could try it. Learning curve is definitely steep for Vim-like editors as a whole. But personally, I think it's worth it. But I don't know. Should try Vim motions first. Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. Okay, so here we are printing target debug bin, which just feels wrong. So probably this copy paste that was happening before is just wrong now, and it's because we are trying to join my path, which the path that people passed in, which is just fucking useless. This should be parent path join create item. Yes. I just fucked up, that's all. There we go. That's the problem with just blindly copy pasting. There we go. So now we have test bin create item. Great. Great. Now we can move on to another one. What other ones do we need? Cargo check. We are missing path purpose socket and path purpose item link. And these are simple because we can just say return error, readdir error, not a directory. Easy. What else is missing? Item relationships and pass-through path and unknown. So unknown is also easy. We would just return. Well, what did we do down here? I assume that we just wrote like error. Yeah. We just wrote unhandled path and returned nothing. Sure. I guess looping this in with the other error cases seems reasonable. So returning error, not a directory here instead of an empty dir, I think seems better. And what else is missing? Item relationships and pass through path. We're almost there. Okay. So this is item ID, relationship side. And what did we do here before? We did this shit. This one was complicated. So what did we do here? We checked for the item, looked at all of its relationships, mapped all of its relationships to dir entry link. So this just goes to path, purpose, link, item link. And instead of going by name now, we are going by item. So sibling ID. And the name is sibling.name.clone. Maybe we don't even just clone it. Okay. Then, what's the problem? Cargo check. Expected this to be a closure that returns option path purpose string, but returns option dir entry. Where the fuck are dir entries? Ah, result path purpose and string. What the fuck? Ah, no, that seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. Path purpose. Target check. So he doesn't like that path purpose pass through path isn't covered, so that's the last one. Which looks like it was slightly complicated. That's okay. Where was I? Hello? Here we go. Pass through path here. Copy. Paste. All right, and here we were going dir entry dir file name, and I guess here we just say pass. Everything's purpose here is just going to be more pass through. If our parent is a pass through, we're also a pass through. So here we have pass through path. Path purpose, pass through path, and the name is the name. Yeah. Okay. And it actually doesn't matter if it's a dir or not, because we will resolve that later. Then we fucked up some deletion of this here, and this is probably just not a string, so this needs to be a toString. To_stir unwrap. Okay. Target check. So expected this, found that. So why does it think this is dir entries? Because I wrote that here. So this needs to be path purpose and string now instead of that. And toString here. And is everybody happy? No. Because this expects me to tell it what the pass through, where the pass through path is. Okay. Which makes sense. So what was I doing before? Before I was just saying we can just look at the name, but now we need to give it the full path. So we have what? Self db get I guess we can just go by its existing path. Yeah. So we have item dot join let name is equal to just we just passed an item here. I'm an idiot. There we go. Everything else just works. Mismatch closing delimiter. Here. Target check. And expected path purpose string found path purpose, so I did just forget to close this bracket here. And expected bath buffs found dir entry, so here we just need item dot path. All right, all of that. I think after all of that, hopefully we can just navigate our thing normally. Hopefully. So we go into test mount, we have bin, create item, great, items, one, children, thing, that looks great. Content working fine. And projects, ASDF, content, yeah, okay. So everything that we can browse in here seems to be working okay. And now, the fun part. Now is the fun part. We can just delete a fuck ton of unused code now. So basically, anything in here that was matches, all of this is just fucking gone now. Let's go, baby. I think. Matches tools path, I think is still used. Matches bin path. Oh, because get pass through path is still broken. Okay, so we need to fix this function too. So we say self parse path parent. Nope. If pass through path purpose pass through path p is equal to self parse path p path unwrap for now. We return okay sum p. Yeah. Easy. Otherwise, return none. Yeah. Okay, and this is okay none. And this now needs to be mutable, and the return type is now going to just be a readdir error. Cool. Cool. Chilling. So, oh, he doesn't like that before I was deriving the OS error from the IO error and using that directly, which is kind of fucking sick, but now that's a problem. So we're just gonna leave this as it was, just so that we can still build and leave some unwraps in there, which is a pain, but it is what it is. And what we're doing, we're deleting matches things now. So delete all of these. Okay. And then this is never constructed. Cool. Which means that this isn't used. What the fuck? On open, we were just only working on sockets? That doesn't make sense. Did we lose our path purpose? Oh, we missed, we lost test socket. How did we lose so much code here? When did we lose it? That's a little scary, but that's okay. So here we have, the other thing that we had here was our socket. Test socket here. Okay. And he's complaining about some visibility stuff, so delete this pub. Okay. I think that we deleted all the code that we wanted to delete. We can probably delete that big commented out block. Boom. This is gone now. Okay. And now we get to do the fun thing, which is we get to go diff stat. And we get to see that we just lost 150 lines while becoming more maintainable and having all the same features. So that's pretty fucking sick. And now I don't have to worry anymore about this, like, as we add new binaries now, right, we have, like, when this all stemmed from the fact that when we added this create item pass-through binary, we ended up having to, like, check for matches of him in other spots, which is like a pain in the ass. Now, as if we added a second thing here, create relationship, we're done. Like, as long as that create relationship binary exists, no one else has to worry about it. So, pretty sick, pretty sick. Happy with that for now. Okay, so we're at 2 hours. I think we've made a lot of progress today. Gonna call it there. I probably won't stream tomorrow. I think I want to take a break. And then on, what day is it today? Today's Wednesday, I think. Yeah, so on Friday, I'm not sure if we're going to continue working on this. We might be in a pretty good state here. What else do we have to do? Sorting, name and ID metadata, that's short. Yeah, there's nothing super duper interesting maybe to continue on, right? The last pieces of this are these like create item binary that we made today. We would do similar things for creating relationships and stuff. And then I don't know if there's much else. So I'll think about it tomorrow, come back on Friday, and we'll either be on this or back on the neural network stuff. Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, I stream most days around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific time for around 1 or 2 hours. If you're watching on Twitch and you miss a stream or you want to catch up or whatever, you want to see what else we worked on, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description. And if you're on YouTube and you want to swing by and say hi, there's a Twitch link in the YouTube description. There's a GitHub and Discord link in the Twitch description as well. This will go up on GitHub. I probably have like a lot of cleanup work to do tomorrow, so that's probably what I'll be working on. Hopefully the current state of the project is up there by Friday, hopefully. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Catch you all on the next one. Bye!